Mr. President, I know you want to move past all this intrigue over the Epstein files, but I do want to ask you to clarify something you said this morning. You said this was all a hoax. Has your Attorney General told you this was a hoax? What evidence have you seen of that? No,
it's not the Attorney General. No, I know it's a hoax. It's started by Democrats. It's been run by the Democrats for 4 years. You had Christopher Wray and these characters and Comey before him. And it's a bad group. It started, actually, look at the Steele dossier that turned out to be a total hoax. The 51 agents, the intelligence, so-called intelligence agents, it was a hoax. It's all been a big hoax. It's perpetrated by the Democrats. And some stupid Republicans and foolish Republicans fall into the net. And so they try and do the Democrats' work.
There you have it, folks. In a bombshell breaking news update to our previous bombshell breaking news video, Donald Trump is doubling down, this time on camera in the Oval Office, viciously, openly mocking and insulting his own MAGA voters because they have concerns about Jeffrey Epstein, the Epstein files, and the Epstein client list, and Trump reneging on campaign promises and commitments that he made. He is openly insulting his base. He is dealing the most grievous political blow to the MAGA movement that we've ever seen at his own hands. And there's more where this came from. But before we unpack all of that, if you end up liking this video and you want to support the channel, please be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and alert bells before you go. All right, friends, we're going to play the rest of this clip, and we've got several others. Trump viciously, repeatedly attacked his voters at the Oval Office earlier today.
The Democrats are good for nothing other than these hoaxes. They're bad for policy. They're bad for picking candidates that can get elected. Like in New York, we have a communist running. He may get elected too, actually, but he'll destroy the city. I call it the Epstein hoax. It takes a lot of time and effort. Instead of talking about the great achievements, we've had a great gentleman yesterday, as you know, went on CNBC and he made the statement that Trump may go down as the greatest president of all in the United States. And instead of talking about the things we've achieved, we've had tremendous achievement. They're wasting their time with a guy who obviously had some very serious problems, who died 3-4 years ago. I'd rather talk about the success we have with the economy, the best we've ever had, and all of the things we've done, including the Middle East. I mean, you see it. Instead, they want to talk about the Epstein hoax. And the sad part is it's people that are really doing the Democrats' work. They're stupid people.
Again, just not even dog whistling, not criticizing, not pushing back, not trying to gently guide or coax his base, viciously insulting them on camera. If you're a Trump supporter and you have any concern about the Epstein files, the Epstein list, all of that, Donald Trump says you are stupid. And he's not just tweeting about it in all caps on Truth Social. He's saying it on camera at the seat of federal power, the White House, the Oval Office. Shocking. And again, we have more clips, including this one.
Will you ask Attorney General Pam Bondi to release more documents to finally put this controversy to bed?
Yeah, whatever's credible, she can release. If a document is credible, if a document's there that is credible, she can release. I think it's good. But it's just a subject. He's dead. He's gone, and. All it is the Republicans, certain Republicans got duped by the Democrats, and they're following a Democrat playbook. And no different than Russia, and all the other hoaxes. They're started by the Democrats, and some Republicans, in this case I was surprised, but they got duped.
But
Number one, again, most of the things he describes as hoaxes were not hoaxes, number one. Number two, but again, he's doubling down. And Donald Trump and top Trump campaign and administration officials were the ones responsible for gassing up the right-wing conspiracy theories about Epstein in the first place. FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino, Attorney General Pam Bondi, Charlie Kirk, Tim Pool, other, outside the administration allies of Donald Trump. They created this situation, and Trump himself fed them. And when pressed, even though he was somewhat reluctant, was like, yeah, I guess I'll release the Epstein files. Bro, you did this. You set this up. If your supporters were duped, and I do believe they were duped by you and your allies, and you're pissed that they believed the dupe. It's stunning. This would be a certain political, like this would be the end, the objective, factual end of any other politician's career. Donald Trump is doubling down on this because he believes he's above that. And maybe he is, because of the very MAGA supporters that he is now routinely, viciously insulting. MAGA, this is your moment. This is your chance to flex your power and say, hey, we put up with a lot of shit from you, but there are its limits. Trump thinks you have none. We'll find out. We will find out. Here's another clip.
This morning, you mentioned past supporters when you were talking about the Epstein issue. Does that mean that you're effectively disowning any supporters who are now
I
calling...
lost a lot of faith in certain people, I'd lost, because they got duped by the Democrats. The Democrats are good for nothing. They've done a terrible job. They almost destroyed our country. If I didn't get elected, all these numbers you're hearing about, they found $25 billion and another 25 is coming in and hundreds of billions of dollars is pouring into our country. And we just got the biggest tax cut in history. We just got the biggest regulation cuts in history. There'll be no tax on tips. There'll be no tax on Social Security. There'll be no tax on overtime.
So he's lying his ass off about his so-called achievements. I mean, just plainly, explicitly lying. We've debunked these lies before. He's obviously insulting 50% of the country by, attacking Democrats, insulting Democrats. That in and of itself is a problem. But again, he's saying, yeah, I'm disowning people. I've lost faith in them. They're stupid people. They're no longer supporters of mine. They're past supporters of mine. They're no longer part of the club. I don't want their support anymore. Stunning. And yet there's more.
Inflation. What Biden did is he ended our policies, went to his policies. He doesn't have a policy. Some lunatic around the desk had a policy. Whoever operated the auto pen had a policy, which is, by the way, I think the biggest scandal. That's the scandal they should be talking about, not Jeffrey Epstein. The scandal you should be talking about is the auto pen, because I think it's the biggest scandal.
So he's, again, so uncomfortable about the Epstein files. He's trying to deflect, and he's not alone. Fox News has been desperately trying to deflect to questions about President Biden, former President Biden, over what's going on here with Donald Trump. And so far, it's just not hitting. And again, liberals, progressives, Democrats, independents who are critical of Trump, anybody who has issues about this, you need to keep up the pressure. Keep up the damn pressure. Because these facts do not necessarily speak for themselves. The momentum will not necessarily continue. You have to put pressure on Trump consistently every goddamn day in order to keep this up. That's the only way it will happen. So Democrats in and out of office, please pay attention to this. Don't just assume the Epstein scandal will self-sustain. It won't, because Trump is working overtime to make it go away. You have to actively keep up the scrutiny. Here's another clip.
Your high-ranking officials, whether it's been your FBI director or Pam Bondi, they have made some inconsistent statements in the past. You've had...
Well, I don't know. I can't speak about him, but I can say that Pam Bondi, I really think that she's done very good. She says, I gave you all the credible information. And if she finds any more credible information, she'll give that too. What more can she do than that? I mean, honestly, what more can she do? And we do have bigger problems. We have problems with millions of illegal people that came in here, and they're killers and murderers. We have 11,888 murderers that were allowed into our country by Biden, sleepy Joe Biden, stupid Joe Biden. He allowed them into our country. And you know what? We got to do something about it. She's got a lot of things she's working on. And, it's very sad that somebody can be waylaid, that just get waylaid. But I think she's doing a great job, personally.
His base disagrees. They're working overtime to scapegoat her instead of insulting him. Like that's part of the reason. I mean, I'm sure there's some personal animus, like in the Laura Loomer example. She hates Pam Bondi, I think, for personal reasons as well. But so many people are trying to scapegoat Pam Bondi so as to avoid calling out Trump himself. Okay, Trump is doubling down potentially because Pam Bondi is protecting him. But questions about Pam Bondi persist because Pam Bondi set an expectation and failed to deliver, and that makes her fair game. So, folks, there you have it. I mean, this happened. This has all happened within the past 4 hours. Donald Trump makes his vicious personal attack on Truth Social against his own followers, repeatedly, viciously, openly insulting them, doubles down on it at the White House in the Oval Office on camera in front of reporters. He doesn't say, you know what, I was just upset. Let me walk that back. I apologize. He's doubling down. And the reason he thinks he can do this is because he believes, as we liberals and progressives and Democrats believe, that MAGA is a cult. And if you are MAGA or you're MAGA adjacent or you know somebody who's in MAGA, this message, you should send this message. We have thought you're a cult, and with good reason. Donald Trump thinks you're a cult with good reason too. And he thinks that there will be no political ramifications for insulting however much of his base, 30%, 40%, 50% of his base. He thinks he can abuse you to your face and you will tolerate it. And unfortunately, I think hundreds of thousands of people will validate that view. And that's on them. That's on you, MAGA. This is your chance to flex your muscle and say, hey, we're done with this shit. Don't disrespect us. You're nothing without us. We gave you the vote. We give you the benefit of the doubt. We grade you on a curve. We've done all this for you. Don't do this. Because I promise you, a Democratic president would never say this about his or her base because they know, number one, I don't think they have the impulse to do it, unlike Trump. And number two, they know if they ever did, that would be the end of their career. Trump is taking advantage of his base over, and this is just the dumbest thing. And so, and I stand by this. I posted this earlier. Any MAGA who takes this shit from Trump is a fucking loser, full stop. If you're a Trump supporter and you care about the Epstein situation, right or wrong, and most of us liberals and progressives don't share the same concerns you have because we think it's a conspiracy theory, but you all sincerely believe it, in part because of Trump and people surrounded by Trump. If you care about the Epstein situation and you're a Trump supporter and you go back to him after this, you're a loser. You really are. To those MAGA who are saying, you know what, to hell with this, there's a road to redemption here. Turn away from Trump. There's a path back. You don't have to agree with Democrats on every issue. You don't have to agree with liberals or progressives on every issue, but you can join a growing anti-Trump coalition because he has, in his own words, people, he says, I don't want your support anymore. He doesn't want your support anymore, and he's making it abundantly clear. Shocking, stunning stuff. In the meantime, let me know what you think in the comments.